This is the plaintiff, Nicole Yarborough. She says the defendant's daughter was enrolled in the preschool she runs out of her home, and she never imagined things would come to this. The woman stopped payment on her last 2 checks. This whole ordeal's really affected her emotionally, and she just wants the $841.25 she's owed. These are the defendants, Naomi and John DeKalb. Naomi says it's really sad things have come to this, a lawsuit. But it is what it is. One thing she knows for sure is she doesn't owe the plaintiff any money, and she thinks the judge will agree. They're accused of not playing nice.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant stopped payment on the preschool payment, but the defendant says she doesn't owe squat. It's the case of you've been preschooled.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Nicole Yarborough?
Yes.
And the Little Red Barn Preschool.
Yep.
You are suing Naomi and John DeKalb for unpaid child care services in the amount of $841.25, $341.25 of that, the last 2 weeks tuition, and $500 of it in late fees. Tell me what happened.
Okay, so
How many children did they have there?
one child,
One child. And how
Yes.
old was the child?
but she's 2.5 at the time.
All right. Okay. Go
So
on.
what happened was she put in her 30-day notice because of an incident.
Tell me about that.
She had come to pick up her daughter at 6 o'clock, and I had already told her in advance that she hadn't had a nap for the whole day. And when she put her into the car, she had a meltdown. She took her out of the car. She facing my daycare, and she said, "You're in timeout."
This is before the notice?
Yeah, this was
Okay,
before
okay.
the notice. This is like
Go
a
ahead.
day before the notice.
Right.
And meanwhile, Amelia's standing there screaming at the top of her lungs. And my husband got sick of hearing it, so he went outside and he signaled for her to come to the daycare area.
He signaled for who to come to the daycare?
He signaled for Naomi
Okay.
to come. He goes, "Come here." She came to him and he said, "This can't happen here." And she looked at him and I heard this from my window. She said, "Come on, Amelia, let's go." So they went to the car and they drove off. Later on that night, I got a text message saying that we needed to talk about the incident that happened with Phil, my husband. So we met at Starbucks. She discussed that it was inappropriate for how Phil talked to her.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't like somebody to go like that to me either. You know, it's a little bit rude.
What, saying, "Come here"?
Yeah, come here. No, you come here. You want to talk to me. Come out and step out. I mean, I'm a client of this place. I thought that was rude, but
We
that's
were
not, look,
close.
but we're getting far astray of things. So
Right,
for whatever
but,
reason,
yeah,
she
this has
decides she's
nothing-
leaving.
Okay,
She
this
gives
has
you-
nothing to do with them walking
But
out.
I thought you were going to start telling me when you said the incident about the problem where your friend was thrown out.
Yeah, Audrey, the other little
Okay,
girl.
got it. And there was a problem between you and the dad.
It was a communication problem, and I terminated him.
Okay. And that child is your daughter's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And it was sort of unpleasant, correct?
Oh, yeah, it was very.
Am I correct from reading your materials that you basically texted the dad and said, your daughter's stuff will be out on the porch, pick them up by 5:30, you're not welcome here, I'm terminating you? That's a little rude, don't you think?
What's rude?
What I just said.
No.
You don't think it's rude? I think
No,
it's
I
rude.
don't.
In
Because
any
we had
event,
already had a discussion
you give 30-day notice.
I did.
Says the contract requires, and then you
Yes.
pay the first half of the month, and then the
Yes.
15th comes, you pay the second half of the month.
Yes.
And then you stop payment on
Yes.
that check. Why?
Because when I dropped off the check on the 15th, the morning of, I spoke with Nicole and said, "I'm going to be coming late at 6 o'clock. I come to pick my daughter up. There's an access code that lets you into the daycare. So I put the access code in. It didn't work. So I couldn't get in to my child. So I hollered over the fence and got one of the kids' attention to let them know that I'm here and to have somebody.
There's no doorbell to ring?
So,
Is there a
and they were
doorbell?
There's no
outside.
doorbell.
Okay.
And they were outside.
We were
So-
outdoors anyways. When
so
we're
go on.
outdoors, we opened the gate for them.
So I said, Nicole, the key code doesn't work it didn't work. She's like, "I changed it." So I asked her, I said, "So what's the code?" And she said, "I can't give it to you." She said that you're still associated with Emily and Justin, Audrey's dad and his girlfriend, because I had picked up Audrey's stuff. They called me and asked me to pick up the stuff because it was sitting outside on the ground. She said when I picked up that bag, I chose Justin and Emily, and that she couldn't trust me with the code. At that point, I said, this is unacceptable. Denying me access to my child, not giving me notice. I said, Amelia's not coming back. I'm putting a stop payment on the check. She said, go ahead, and I left.
Okay. Tell me about this. What happened?
So the defense here is this daycare person was really rude to the parents. Is that a defense to not paying for the services?
No,
Why?
because attitude has nothing to do with her services.
Is that true for daycare? Attitude has nothing to do for services. What do you? Who's a parent? Who's a parent? Who's a parent? Quick. What do you think? Does attitude have anything to do with it?
I don't think so. No, I
Okay,
don't.
well, therefore, a parent has spoken. There you go. Going inside the courtroom.
She asked me for the code, just like she said, and I told her that I was not giving her the code because she was too closely involved with Justin and Emily.
How? By doing what? By serving as a broker to make sure that the two of you don't have contact and picking up the stuff that you very, I think, rudely just put on a porch?
No, I was worried that the code was going to be breached. And I didn't want someone else to have the code to my home, come in, vandalize my property. They made threatening.
Yeah, why would you conclude that might happen?
Because he called after I terminated him. He called and he made threatening phone calls to me.
How? Saying what?
Saying you've made the wrong decision by terminating my daughter. I'm going to put bad reviews over the internet about you.
Oh, why do people think that's threats? Threats is I'm gonna break your legs.
Well, no, of course.
Okay. I think I understand what you're saying.
And,
you felt unsafe, and you don't want somebody you have bad blood with potentially doing something like that. And you have kids there, so you don't want him having the code. What do I do with the idea that you make her feel like, wait, I'm a paying customer. All of a sudden, she's a persona non grata, and why should she have to patronize you for 2 more weeks and abide by the contract when you've changed the rules on her, telling her I don't want you to have the code?
I was more than willing to open the door.
You just felt offended, like you felt like it was...
Well, and also, too, there's 2 days had gone by, and she never notified us.
Well, apparently it hadn't affected you.
Yeah, because I would
Right. So I have to sort of consider that when I'm trying to figure out how big a deal this is. I think what it really is the insult. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but it felt like an insult to you.
And the insult, and there was
Did you really say you picked Justin?
What I said was, when you picked up the bag, she said, I don't want to get in the middle of you, Justin, and Emily. I said, when you picked up that bag, when she text messaged you to go and run her errands for her, you put yourself in the middle.
Oh my God, you have such an attitude.
That's what I said.
But you really have an attitude. You must be really good at what you do, because I'd have dropped you in a week. You must be absolutely fabulous at daycare. If people are there with you a whole year, you do a great job with the kids. Because
there was a lot of good.
It's got to be.
A lot of good.
It's got to be, because otherwise I wouldn't tolerate people talking to me like that. Let me hear from you. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think that it was a change in atmosphere, that we felt that if they were going to treat us this way, what would they be treating our child like?
Yeah, but you'd had no evidence they were going to treat your child.
No, that's true.
Don't get me wrong. You as parents have the obligation and the responsibility to make the decisions that you think are best for your child. What I have to decide is that such a material breach of the contract that you don't have to abide by the contract? And I don't find it to be such a material breach. And it's insulting and everything, and I agree with you. I would feel insulted, but all you have to do is call ahead like you have before and give a little holler, and they'll come over. In other words, I would have done the same thing you were doing, and I would not have stopped payment, I guess is what I'm saying. I'm not going to order them to pay $500 in late fees, because when the late fees are more than the fees, that's excessive. So I am going to order them to pay the $341.25 plus your court costs. That's my judgment. Good luck, folks.
Find out from the defendant what they think of Judge Million's decision on this case. What's going through your mind here?
I'm just glad it's over with. I think that, it's fair. We just weren't going to pay it unless the court said we did, and so it's fine.
You want to weigh in on this?
Just be careful about your child care provider and make sure that you are really safe and comfortable with them.
You were close friends.
Yeah.
What happened to that friendship?
It's sad, but we no longer are friends.
All right. Okay, right around the corner there. All right, come on in here and tell me what you think of the outcome in this case here.
What do I think of the outcome?
Yeah.
I think it was a fair outcome. And as long as a provider has her contract, she can stand by that, regardless of how the parents feel about how they were insulted. I don't feel that they were insulted.
What do you think rotted the friendship out then?
Oh, The friendship was over a long time ago. I mean, it all started with, it was just little small things that added up to this.
All right,
what happened.
Harvey.
Okay, short story here. Rudeness is not a defense to non-payment of a contract, period, unless it reaches the level of being threatening or harassing. Otherwise, forget it. You have to pay.